How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis and we've got a new poll from the Old School RuneScape team, so let's go ahead and vote in this poll. So, this is the Old School Content Poll 43, Great Kourend content. They recently released a developer blog discussing their ideas of how they can expand Great Kourend and flesh it out. I'll be providing a link to my video on that dev blog at the end of this video. In the meantime, let's go through the questions. Starting off with question 1. The Catacombs of Kourend are a series of tunnels found underneath Zeah filled with monsters and a demi-boss. Should the Catacombs of Kourend be added to Zeah? Now, I really like this idea and I'm going to go ahead and vote yes for it. I feel that this is the sort of thing they were trying to pitch when they first started talking about Zeah. Question 2. The Arclight is a weapon created from the Darklight and a new item, the Archaic Shards. The Arclight provides damage and accuracy greater than the Abyssal Tentacle when used against demons. If the Catacombs of Kourend pass, should the Arclight be introduced through drops from demons in the Catacombs? Again, I'm a fan of this. I really like the Darklight and Silverlight in game, and conceptually, they just need to be improved slightly, and this is a really good way of implementing it. Question 3. Should an underground minecart system be added to Great Kourend, which allows quicker travel around the city for a small fee? Now, when I first hear about this, I kind of feel like it's a bit of a cop-out. We've got minecart system which isn't massively popular on the mainland, and they're just saying, oh well, there's dwarves in Zeah, we'll just add one. However, it is useful, and because we do have minecarts around the mainland, it does make sense that there could be some in Zeah. So I'm going to go ahead and vote yes. Question 4. Should the Woodcutting Guild be added to the Hosidius area in Great Kourend? The guild will require level 60 woodcutting to enter, and will contain various high-level trees. Now, when it comes to this question, I've been thinking about it for a while. Obviously, you can look at every single skill and think, why don't we have a guild for that? We've got, guilds for cooking, crafting, fishing. Why isn't there, a woodcutting one? Why isn't there a fire-making one? Well, maybe with the fire-making one they burnt it down, but why isn't there a woodcutting one? And you could go about it like that. However, why question it? Why can't we just accept the fact that there isn't guilds for everything? I kind of feel that a woodcutting guild would just be a really high level woodcutting area where lots of people would just chop down high level trees and bank them instantly, and it'll just make it a little bit too easy. However, all of that depends on if there's going to be a bank in this guild, and I've seen no information about that so far. And until I find out that, I really want to hold off on this, so I'm going to go ahead and vote no. Question 5. If the woodcutting guild passes, should redwood trees be found inside the guild? Redwood trees will require level 90 woodcutting to chop, and the logs will be used to make pyre ships, burn shade corpses, and general fire-making training. Now, when they first introduced redwood trees in the Artisan Developer block, I was not a fan. Sure, they had slightly different woodcutting level to chop down, but there's not really many uses for the logs. I mean, you could say, yeah, fire-making, that's great, but it's just faster experience for fire-making, and it seems rather unnecessary to me. If they said, okay, we've got this new log, we're going to create some cool construction things, then maybe I'll be a little bit more interested. But at this moment in time, for purely a fire-making training item, I don't really see it working. So I'm going to go ahead and vote no. Question 6. If the woodcutting guild passes, should Ents be placed in an enclosure under the guild? Now, I have to go ahead and vote no here. Reason being is, Ents are currently a wilderness only creature. They are quite lucrative to kill, or at least they should be lucrative to kill, to encourage players to go and try and kill them. This in turn will then bring players into a PvP area where PKs could potentially attack them. Moving all of that and putting it into a nice safe guild where skillers can go really just bypasses and makes all of the Ents in the wilderness redundant. So unless there is some kind of alternative thing they add into the wilderness soon, then I really don't see any point in having this. The only link I can see is it's kind of cool having Ents in a woodcutting guild. But that's it. It's just cool. It's not actually useful for the game. Question 7. Should fruit stalls be introduced as a low-level thieving target in Great Kourend? Successful thieves would receive various types of fruit, including a rare chance of receiving papaya and Gola Nova fruit. The Gola Nova fruit would be used to create botanical pie, which provides a herb lore boost of 4 levels. Now, I'm rather annoyed they've not split this into 2 different questions. They are clearly completely unrelated. The only thing that's relating them is the fact that it's the Gola Nova fruit. But I suppose you can get that from Tith anyway. I don't know if you can actually take it out of the game, but you can get them from Tith. So I don't see any reason for these two questions to be together. Either way, they're both okay. The botanical pie, I'd say, isn't quite as cool as the low-level thieving fruit stalls. However, some people might find a use for having a herb lore boost. Not many players really do. I think this is more aimed towards Iron Man than the general player. Having a low-level thieving fruit stall actually sounds great to me. I really love that. So for the fact that the herb lore boost potion is sort of mediocre, unnecessary, but you know it's not going to be bad, and the fruit stall is going to be great, I'm going to go ahead and vote yes. Should the Soul Bearer, an item used to transport ensouled heads to the bank, be introduced via a mini-quest? The Soul Bearer will be charged using soul and blood runes, with one charge being used for every ensouled head sent to the bank. Now this item sounds incredibly useful. I love the idea of having a mini-quest on Zeah so we can learn a little bit more about, I suppose, Arceus and how necromancy works. As well as it's nice to see that they've got these charges using soul and blood runes, which we've had an influx come into the game since they've introduced soul and blood rune crafting. So I'm going to go ahead and vote yes. Question 9. Should dynamite be purchasable from a shop in the Loverkenge area? Now this is a question I've been struggling on since I really saw the developer blog. I've just had a look at dynamite on the 2007 Scape wiki, and it's something players can create, but they can also trade between each other. So this will definitely affect the price of dynamite. However, I don't know whether that's something as positive or negative because I've never actually done blast mining. And as I was trying to think about this, I just remembered there is a skip question option nowadays, so I think I'm going to use my right to skip this question. Next, question 10. Should sand crabs, a lower level creature comparable to rock crabs, be added to the coast in the south of the Hosidius area in Great Kourend? I'm going to go ahead and vote yes. That seems like a nice little update, and potentially if they are equivalent to rock crabs, it will reduce some of the crowding in that area because I believe quite a few people train there. Question 11. Should a player owned house portal be added to Great Kourend? The portal will be located in the southern side of the Hosidius area. I'm going to go ahead and vote yes. I think that'll be rather useful. People will enjoy having their houses in Great Kourend, and hopefully that will encourage them to go around Great Kourend more. Although I hypothesized in the most recent update video that seeing as they recently added an estate agent to Zeah, somewhere in Great Kourend, I'm not entirely sure where, but they recently added an estate agent to Zeah, it'd be quite funny if we didn't have house portals in Great Kourend, because then they'll just be trying to sell houses, but they couldn't sell it to anyone. Next, question 12. Should the appearance of the Dragon Defender be changed to remove the pink glow? So, we've got the current Dragon Defender here on the right, and the updated version on the left. The reason they want to change this is the fact that, as we can see, this left one is much more like other dragon items. You can tell it's dragon as soon as you see it, whereas this one on the right is pink, and it's kind of questionable. And one could even argue that, because of this, it doesn't quite fit into Old School RuneScape's art style. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and vote yes. Question 13. Should it be possible to change the appearance of Slayer helms using the Cowfight Queen, King Black Dragon and Abyssal Demon heads? The appearance of the helmet would then match the style of the head that you used. Doing this will cost you some Slayer points. So these are the 3 helmets. I think they all look great, and I think everyone else knows that they do look great. This idea has been hopping around the dev QAs, the 2007 Scape Reddit and such for such a long time, and they've eventually gotten around to polling it. The reality of this is it's just a really nice cosmetic update for people who enjoy Slayer and they manage to get these heads, which currently don't really have much of a use. So I'm going to go ahead and vote yes. Question 14. Should Iron Man be able to purchase scrolls of redirection from Dominic Onion using Nightmare Zone points? I remember looking back at my Iron Man poll video and I originally said, why are we limiting them from getting these? I don't really see any major reason why we would do that. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and vote yes. Question 15. The Apatol teleport found on the Necromancy spellbook takes you underneath the Apatol temple. Should the destination of this teleport be changed to the cave found on the south of Apatol? Players must still receive Dario's training before using this. Now they polled this not too long ago actually, and it failed. I remember voting yes mostly for the reason that I thought that the standard spellbook teleport to Apatol and the Necromancy spellbook teleport to Apatol were rather close, and I thought having an alternative to this useful cave was good. However, the fact that they're polling it so close to it failing kind of annoys me, and that's making me want to vote no to this. Question 16. Should it be possible to purchase RuneFest tickets, accommodation, and transport using old school bonds? I'm going to go ahead and vote no to this. I am fully opposed to anything that can affect the price of bonds in old school RuneScape. I understand that it would be nice to be able to purchase our RuneFest related things using our in-game wealth. However, it will affect the price of old school RuneScape bonds. They will go up in price, meaning that anyone that wants to buy membership with them will struggle because they'll need to get more money in game. And anyone trying to, buy their way into the game by buying bonds with real world money will get a lot more money for their cheating behaviour. Similarly, question 17. Should they allow old school RuneScape bonds to be redeemed for a display name change? Something I'm going to vote no to. You can already change your name once a month, and if you're that desperate to change it more than once a month for some crazy reason, then go into RuneScape 3 and get a bond there. It's not like it's hard to make a few mil and do that. Let's cast our vote and check out the results. So far, we've had 19,426 votes. 95.6% of those want catacombs to be put underneath Kourend. 88.9% want the Arclight to be introduced in the catacombs of Great Kourend. 95% want an underground minecart system to be added to Great Kourend. 94.3% want a woodcutting guild to be added to Great Kourend. 90.8% want the redwood tree to be introduced along with the woodcutting guild. 86.6% want Ents to be put into the woodcutting guild. 91% want fruit stools and the botanical papaya to be introduced to Great Kourend. 80.5% want the soul bearer to be introduced, allowing players to teleport their unsold heads to their bank for a small fee of soul and blood runes. 81.2% want dynamite to be purchasable from the Loverkenge area. 89.2% want sand crabs to be introduced in the Hosidius area in Great Kourend. 94.2% want the player-owned house portal to be added to Great Kourend. 70.7% want the Dragon's Defender to remove its horrible pink glow. 94.4% want the ability to change the appearance of their Slayer helms using Cowfight Queen, King Black Dragon and Abyssal Demon heads. 81.7% want Iron Men to be able to purchase scrolls of redirection from the Nightmare Zone reward point shop. 79.5% want the Apatol teleport on the Necromancy spellbook to take you to the southern cave on Apatol as opposed to the cave underneath the temple. 71.5% want it to be possible to purchase RuneFest tickets, accommodation and transport using old school RuneScape bonds. And 78% want old school RuneScape bonds to be able to be redeemed for display name changes. This poll has been rather interesting, and I think I'm a little bit disappointed with some of the questions, but I can live with pretty much all of this. It's interesting to note that using old school RuneScape bonds to redeem a display name change is passing when redeeming RuneFest tickets, accommodation and transport isn't. And I think I prefer it that way, mostly because when you do redeem RuneFest tickets, accommodation and transport using old school RuneScape bonds, you're going to be buying a lot of old school RuneScape bonds, and if a lot of people do that, the price will definitely rise, and then it will balance itself out at the rest of the year, but when it comes to the next RuneFest, it will again spike. So every year there'll be this huge spike in old school RuneScape bond prices. Whereas with the ability to redeem them for display name changes, it will be throughout the year, meaning that hopefully they will balance their prices out. A few other questions which I found rather interesting are the fact that Iron Men will soon be able to purchase redirection scrolls from Nightmare Zone reward point shop. Also, what's interesting is the fact that the appearance change to Dragon Defender is currently failing. It's in the 5% area, so it's definitely available for a near miss poll in the future. However, I'm questioning, why would you prefer that glow over the clear and distinct dragon colour we all know and love? And everything else seems to be passing with flying colours, which is very interesting. There's not really much on this higher end, at least, of the poll that isn't passing, or, well, none of it's passing, and they're all passing with very good percentages. If you've not voted in this poll yet, please make sure you go ahead and vote. This is a community game. Every single update is voted on by the community, which means if you don't get your say, then you're not getting your game. If you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape update, please click here for the Necromancy teleport tablets. And if you want to watch my video on the developer blog that this poll was based on, please click here for Great Kourend content. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to keep up to date with the Old School RuneScape updates, dev blogs and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.